Hi and welcome to the lecture on image digitization. So, usually when we speak of a signal digitization, what do? We take the signal, so first we sample it. So, the continuous time function is discretized. Okay, so in time we make it as discrete time signal, and usually next we do the step known as quantization. So, what do we do in quantization? So, the amplitude values which are continuous in the continuous domain, we discretize the amplitude, right? So this is in general what we do when we have to convert a continuous time signal to a continuous or an analog signal into a digital signal, right? So the similar process is undergone even in terms of image digitization. So let us explore more into this. So as you know, image is a two-dimensional signal, right? Okay. So when we speak of an image, it needs to be processed by a computer. So if it has to be processed by a computer, then the image has to be digitized, right? So it should be in a digital form. So it must be represented using an appropriate discrete data structure. So we need to, mathematically represent here. So the data structure or the discrete data structure which we use for image is nothing but a matrix. So as we know, is an image, it's a two-dimensional. So you can imagine image having a lot of rows and lot of columns. So that is nothing but matrix. So when we speak of capturing an image is captured by a sensor, and when we are capturing it from a sensor, it is in a continuous range, right? A sensor keeps acquiring it continuously. So an image is captured by a sensor. It is usually expressed as a continuous function, that is f of x comma y. So these are the two coordinates x comma y, and the image is of the function of f, that is f of x comma y. So when we speak of image digitization, that means f of x comma y is sampled into a matrix with m rows and n columns, right? So it has m rows and n columns. So image quantization, what we do is we assign each continuous sample at integer value, right? So whichever is the continuous what we acquired from the from the sensor, we are going to assign to each continuous sample an integer value. The continuous range of the image function, that is, so basically we need to map the continuous function so into discrete values, right? So basically what is happening is we need to split the f of x comma y into k intervals. Okay, and we should understand as we speak usually in terms of resolution, what I told previously. So the better the approximation of the continuous image function f of y is achieved if at all the value of k is large. So the finer the sampler value, then larger. If we want the sampling to be very fine, then we should have more rows and more columns, right? And if the quantization also, so that in terms of the amplitude values or the intensity values, if we want more clarity or more high resolution, then we should have many quantization levels. Lesser the quantization level, then the resolution will be less. So more the quantization level, that is, if the interval values larger the value of k or the better the quantization, so we have done better image digitization. But the trade-off is that we need lot of memory to store these values, or lot of the n values, or we say if it is 4 bits, then we can have 2 to the power 4, so 16 values of k. So that is what we need to understand, right? So same way in terms of time resolution, so larger the value of m and n, the more the in terms of time resolution it will be better. Coming to the first step, that is image sampling, right? Okay, when we speak of image sampling, so when we speak of image sampling, image function sampling, okay, so the sampling period should be determined, right? So when we speak of sampling, we need to first tell the sampling period, right? In terms of image, what is the sampling period? So sampling period is nothing but the distance between two neighboring sampling points in an image. I repeat, in an image, the sampling period is nothing but the distance between two neighboring sampling points in an image. This is the first thing we need to determine before doing the image sampling. What is the next thing? The next is the rows and columns. So basically the geometric arrangement of sampling points need to be set. So what are the two things? One is the sampling period and next is the geometric arrangement of the sampling points. Now let us dive deeper into the problem of sampling. So usually we need to speak in terms of the M and N value as I told previously. So if you see a TV image, usually a sampling of 512 cross 512 grids are used. Okay, and for different different formats, different sampling grids are used. Okay, so basically a continuous image it is digitized at sampling points. So you see a figure in front of you, right? So you see the first one, okay? So understand here that the first one, the continuous image function was sampled using a grid value of 256 cross 256. In B, if you see, it was 128 cross 128. In C, it is 64 cross 64 and D, it is 32 cross 32. So usually here it is shown in the same size, but for these different values of the grid use, the size is smaller and smaller. But one thing you should understand here is that the lesser the value of M and N, you see the clarity of the image is quite reduced. Yes or no? Yes, definitely you can understand here. So that is why we say that the final judge of whether an image processing to what extent it is good or not, finally we humans eyes are nothing but the big judge. So we can see finally the image is something which has to be understood or perceived by humans. We can see that the 256 cross 256 looks much better resolution than the one which is 32 cross 32 or any other. So we can compare like this. Okay, so you got an idea now of what is this sampling, right? So let us understand what is sampling points. So basically a continuous image is digitized at sampling points. And these sampling points, they are ordered in a plane. So when I say a plane, it is two-dimensional. So so once we sample these points, we need to arrange them or we need to order them in a plane. So their geometric relation is called a grid. Okay, so the grid or finally this digital image is then a data structure. So what we call a grid is nothing but your matrix. So finally, as I told you, the data structure we use to represent a digital image is nothing but a matrix, right? So a grid used in practice is usually square. Sometimes even hexagonal grid is used. So what you can see in front of you. So basically, the digital image is a data structure called matrix that you understood here. So coming to the next thing, when we usually I think you heard that in TV we say raster scanning, right? So in image what we have is the grid, right? So what is this grid and what is this raster? So we need to distinguish the grid from the raster. Okay, what is raster? So raster is the grid on which a neighborhood relation between the points is defined. Okay, so a raster is basically the grid on which a neighborhood relation between points is defined. Or when we speak of a raster, it's dot matrix data structure. But what is a pixel? So a pixel is nothing but a short form for picture element or an image element. What are these then? Okay, we speak in image in terms of grid, right? Or a pixel. So here it is nothing but when we speak of a pixel, it is not just it is the smallest addressable value in a image or a digital image. So pixel or a picture element is the infinitely small sampling point, so which is see once we arrange the sampled points in the grid, the values which you get from at those sampled points, that is nothing but the pixel, right? They are the infinitely small sampling point in a digital image. So when we speak of a two-dimensional, we speak of pixel. Also just keep in mind that a volume element in a 3D image is known as the image element in a 3D image is known as a voxel, which is actually nothing but a volume element. We should understand one more thing, that pixel is not further divisible from image analysis point of view. So pixel is the smallest addressable element. Okay, so that is, we cannot further subdivide a pixel anymore. So basically from image analysis point of view, this is the smallest addressable element. Okay, so it's that small sampling point in a digital image. Next thing what you should understand after sampling is quantization. So what is sampling? What is quantization? So the points when x comma y are discrete, okay, those, that is called as sampling. Then when that value at x comma y, or the function f of x comma y, if that is also discrete, so we have to discretize even the not only x comma y but even f of x comma y. So once we do the sampling of x comma y, then we get those x comma y coordinate values as discrete. But once we sample even the amplitude values, that is when we speak of quantization, when those function values are also discrete in nature. So this is basically, you should understand that the value of a sampled image, that is fs of j delta x comma k delta y, is expressed as a digital value in image processing. Okay, so the transition between the continuous value of the image function, that is the brightness, and its digital equivalent is called quantization. So basically, what is a function of x comma y? That is the value at that point, or the brightness or the intensity, right? This is now we are transitioning from continuous value to its digital equivalent, right? So that is that value discretization is known as quantizing. Okay, so as I told you, kept telling you, the number of quantization levels should be high, so that we can easily permit human perception of fine shading details in the image, right? So basically, even the sampling, that is m comma n, should also be good enough, and even k intervals, when we speak of quantization, that should also be good enough. So basically, the number of quantization levels must be high enough to permit human perception of fine details. So usually, as I said to you, you need to use k equal intervals. Usually quantization, we can go for equal intervals or non-equal intervals. Let us speak now in terms of equal intervals. So if I tell that k intervals, so k is nothing but 2 power b. So if I say 4 intervals, that means I should be representing using 2 bits. Okay, so that is 2 to the power 4. Okay, then it is nothing but 4. 2 to the power 2, that is nothing but 4. So then what it if I want to express in terms of 16 intervals, what should be the value of b? Yes, then it should be 2 to the power 4, right? So b should be 4. Actually, when we go for digitization, we have 3 steps, to be frank. One is sampling, quantizing, and encoding. Encoding is nothing but that finding that value of b, with which we are going to then represent in terms of zeros and ones. But here it is sufficient if we can speak in terms of sampling and quantization. Okay. Also, the main problem is images once it is quantized with insufficient brightness levels. That is, if the number of brightness levels are low, or if the value of k is very less, what happens is we are not mapping the continuous values appropriately to the proper discrete values of the amplitude. So this results in the appearance of false contours. When this false contour arises, this effect arises when the number of brightness levels is lower than that which the humans can easily distinguish. Actually, of course, our eyes do not can distinguish too fine details, but to some extent we can. But if we are not doing the quantization in enough number of k levels, at least human perception is not good enough, then this false contours, or not a proper mapping of the amplitude values takes place. So this is due to the various factors such as average local brightness. Okay, so this is one of the reason why there can be presence of false contours. So what you see here in the figure, actually it's better you refer your textbook. I couldn't get a better image. So you can see 4 images here. Actually the first one has a better brightness level. So it is having 64 brightness levels. The topmost left. The topmost right, that is B, it has 16 brightness level. The bottom left has 4 brightness levels and bottom right has 2 brightness levels. Okay, so this is what happens. So you can see here, as you reach the downmost, it looks more only black and white. It does not have the finer details. But if you see the first one, it has got a better brightness level. So it's better you refer textbook for this. So this ends the topic on image digitization. So in the next class, I will be dealing with digital image properties. Okay. So when we are going to speak of properties, we are going to speak in terms of metric, topological properties, and usually in terms of human perception of images. Thank you.